Grace. What exactly is it? Does grace have a pair of eyes that I can stare into like I would a friend? Does grace have a body that I can wrap my arms around and embrace as I would a loved one? No, it doesn't. Because it's not something tangible, it's not physical. However, I can experience it in a unique way. I like to identify grace and define it as an important ingredient for development and maturity. To further this point, allow me to share a story. I was speaking to a group of people as I had them to imagine being the parent of a 1 year old by the name of Little Bob. Little Bob was still learning to speak and had not yet learned to walk, so everywhere he went, he would just crawl. Until one day, Little Bob became bold and decided to take a stand. By now, the group was leaning in and listening intently, trying to figure out where I was going with this story. And so I continued by explaining. This particular day, Little Bob is in the living room and has mounted himself up against a coffee table to take his first step, I say to them. As he began to raise up his foot and stretch it forward to meet the rest of the carpet, his hand swipes right against a cup of juice on the table. Down goes Little Bob, and the juice spills all over the carpet. Then I glance at them and I say, as the parent, what punishment is Little Bob worthy of for his actions? How will we discipline him for causing such a mess? A few blank stares, puzzled looks, and the room was silent. Then one spoke. He doesn't deserve to be punished. And then another. Yeah, he's just trying to learn. So then I responded to the crowd by insisting that we have to discipline Little Bob in order to be good parents. I don't think you guys are listening, I said to them. Little Bob deserves to be punished. He deserves to receive consequences for his actions. He has done a terrible thing and must not get away with it. By now, the room has flared up with a lot of commotion. What are you talking about? This is not right. He is just a baby. Then I calmed down the room and I said to them, I want you to all notice how passionately you just advocated for Little Bob. Clearly, you all agree that he does not deserve to be punished. And for what cause? A harsh judgment is waved out of the acknowledgement of his innocence, and we understand that he is only trying to learn how to walk. Therefore, the mistakes are justified in our eyes. Yet, why is it that this same kindness and grace extended to Little Bob is not extended as easily to ourselves when we make a mistake? Why aren't we as patient toward the Little Bob in us when we're just learning how to walk into something new? Well, maybe it's because we do not deem ourselves worthy of the same patience. The inner critic in us constantly whispers in our ear that we should know better by now. We are too old to be struggling with this, says that voice. The room was back silent and filled with stares of amazement. Now here's the point. Little Bob represents us when we're trying to walk in new relationships, careers, start up a business, raise a family, learn a new skill, you name it. The list goes on. The response of the parent to Little Bob's mistakes reflects how we treat ourselves when the Little Bob in us falls down and knocks things over. So ponder this with me. What do you think would happen to Little Bob if every time he attempted to walk, he was punished? Is it fair to say that he would stop trying to walk? And if so, then the very thing that is essential to his development would be hindered because of fear. the fear of punishment due to making a mistake. So then, little Bob could grow up to be an older adult known as a night crawler, all because he would have become afraid of learning how to walk. He would also be living the lowest version of himself rather than have learned how to stand tall and walk in the authority that he was destined for. And to those of you that are listening, this is what I have to say. Do not be afraid to take a stand. Stand and walk into that relationship. Stand and walk into that new career. Stand and walk into that new way of thinking. Stand and walk into leading people that are in need of you. And if you fall, be sure to get back up. Do not just lay there. A baby does not learn to walk on the first attempt. It has to try over and over and over again because it takes time. But every step and attempt that is made, the baby is becoming stronger and stronger. For this reason, Proverbs 24:16 states, "For though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again, but the wicked stumble when calamity strikes." And so if you do not remember anything else, remember this. Grace is needed in order to fully walk into who you are called to be. This is what makes grace an essential ingredient for growth and maturity. So allow yourself to make mistakes without bearing the shame of getting knocked down. And might I also add, yield to grace, yield specifically to grace, the grace of God, and you'll rise every time. Do life in your own strength, and you'll only make it so far.